And we are live here in the Palm Center for an exciting night of Sim World Hoops. Once again, it is your host, LOB, and with my co-host tonight here, Siege, in the building. We've got ourselves an exciting matchup with the Yacht Club, playing host to the Best Coast Ballers in this one. Siege, how are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling great back in Miami. My friend Marsh has redirected me to a nice little Cuban spot this time, so don't worry, I have Rangoons on the side. But I'm excited for this matchup. I know we saw a nice little article about it earlier today, but this matchup between Bianco and Lace Darius Outlaw should be one for the books. Both teams are really team-oriented. There's a lot of guys who can get it done on both sides, so just excited to see how they match up.
Three good early on, and Best Coast Ballers getting out to the first points of the game here. Now, we talk about matchups in this game specifically. I feel like there's a lot to note as Best Coast cannot respond there with a three, but we know a lot of three-point shooters for both sides, a lot of different matchups, and it's interesting to see here because there's been a lot of changes to the lineups. Do you feel like those changes will affect the quality of this game?
Well, I mean, I think we talked about Yacht Club kind of trying to find their identity all season. We thought it was just going to be Dominic Bianco's show, and there were some struggles, and then we saw Adam Max come back, and he kind of revitalized them for a couple of games, but they came back into some struggles, and so I think they're just still trying to find it. So I think any adjustments at this point are probably welcome. I know we got news before the game that Adam Max might not be starting, but it looks like he's making his appearance in the starting lineup, which makes sense. I think as he should be, but we got some new faces on both sides, so I think adjustments are good, especially if you're a team trying to find your identity.
Well, we'll see if those adjustments will affect this game as another three-pointer goes down for the Best Coast Ballers, getting out to a 6-point lead here earlier. Now, before we get deep into this game, I do want to note to everybody watching out there at home that we have just hit 1,000 subscribers on our SimWorld TV page. We want to thank each and every single person who supports the SimWorld TV community, and we try our best to bring more and more to you guys, so we appreciate all of the support, and thank you guys once again for 1,000 subscribers. Definitely see a cake in the future somewhere.
Oh, there's cake coming, that's for sure.
Yes, definitely need some cake here. Best Coast Ballers jumping out to a 6-2 lead here early as the drive and finish is good to make it a 6-point lead by Ladarius Outlaw. Now, I did know earlier that the Ladarius Outlaw and Bianco matchup was going to be huge in this one. How important are each of these players to their respective teams?
I mean, both of these players are the engines that make their team run, and there's really no question about that. They both have some support, maybe one more than the other, but they're both by far the guy on their team. Speaking of the matchup, I've noticed Lace Darius guarding Bianco every time down, but a couple of times I've noticed they put Trey Willis onto LDO on the other side. And, as much as we want to see that head-to-head matchup, we got to remember Bianco is 4 inches shorter than LDO, so that's probably a smart choice by the Yacht Club to maybe let someone a little closer to his size and Trey Willis start him.
And right there we see the changes in the lineup are starting to be effective as Tamir Johnson knocks down the three-pointer for the Yacht Club. One of the players that got signed up, called up early to the starting lineup as the alley-oop, and the layup finish is good there for Best Coast Ballers. Evangelos Mullins with the finish. Going inside here, looks like that's Max. Rebound is no good. And Best Coast Ballers pushing it up once again here, trying to get it inside, and it's stolen. Stolen away in the Yacht Club here on the other end here. Outlaw's got it, he's looking around.
It's interesting. If you're a casual, you look at the rosters and you kind of think Adam Max has got a lot of size on everyone on this Best Coast Ballers lineup. Donna Bianco, that's a sweet move to the rim, but while they might be undersized, you got Lene Newman, Evangelos Mullins, Austin Avon coming off the bench. I mean, those guys are a little undersized for bigs, but they're dogs. They're dogs. So it should be interesting. Adam Max could still have a field day. He's got a lot of size on him, but they should put up a fight at least.
And once again, Adam Max, you talk about him, and there he is on the alley-oop finish. It's going to be hard to stop a guy who's 7 foot, but somehow Best Coast has to find a way to do so.
Absolutely, especially because we talked about how big this matchup between the point guards is. So it's really gonna, if those two are gonna cancel each other out, which they may or may not, but you got two great players going at it. It's gonna be, is there another guy who's gonna show up? And if Adam Max has a field day, that could be the deciding factor that tips the scales in this game.
As Ladarius Outlaw came back on the other end and got a nice little bucket there for his team to bring the game within one here. Off the screen, it's Tamir Johnson, pulls up and knocks down the mid-range jumper. Tamir Johnson getting some points here early, showing why he should be in the starting lineup.
And he's answering the call in his first game in the starting lineup. He wants to keep that spot, and he's showing why he should.
Max rejected. Three-pointer up and good. Best Coast Ballers and the Yacht Club is going to call a timeout here. We're going to take a quick short break and come back with you with this first quarter action. And we are back here in first quarter action, ladies and gentlemen. Best Coast Ballers jumping out to an early 4-point lead here in this first quarter. And we're seeing a lot of the new guys stepping up here early on in this game as a 2-point mid-ranger is taken, and it is good.
Jay Laster, I mean, having a guy like Jay Laster in your second unit is not something to be messed around about. He's a very talented guy.
Yacht Club here pushing it up on the inside to Laster, and he gets the bucket to go. Jay Laster coming in and making some plays early here for the Yacht Club.
Talk about a spark plug.
It's interesting that you noted that a lot of the players has to finish there for Best Coast Ballers, Evangelos Mullins, but it was interesting you noted earlier that the players that are coming off the bench for this Yacht Club team, definitely some huge firepower. Do you think it'll be overpowering in this game?
I mean, in theory, it should be. First of all, you got two ranked guys in the top 60 in Tyshawn Islam and Jay Laster, who, to be honest, should be ranked higher than 48, which he's ranked, coming off the bench. And then alongside them, you got DeMarco Graham coming off the bench. I mean, and Rizzo Davis Wrightstill's coming off the bench too. I mean, there's a lot of firepower coming off that bench. That's a second unit that, I'm going to be real, you could compete with some starting lineups in this league. So if Best Coast Ballers' second unit isn't on their top of their game, they're going to make a lot of runs when they've got their second unit.
Well, we'll see here how that bench firepower affects in this game as Laster's getting double teamed here. We're under a minute here in this first quarter. Swing set, Yacht Club driving, and the finish is no good. And Best Coast now on the offensive end. Foul is called here, and it's going to send Austin Avon to the line here. We're going to take a quick short break and be back in just a moment. And we are back here with first quarter action. Austin Avon gets into the line. Oh, and ladies and gentlemen, we have the Miami Lights cut on early here as Avon is at the line, and he misses the first free throw.
It's those lights in his eyes. Is that allowed?
We've been here and we've seen and we've known that these lights seem to have some sort of effect on this Yacht Club team, but we don't talk about, the effect that it has on the other team. We don't really mention that much. We notice that the Yacht Club plays better whenever the lights are on, but how, when you're going into a hostile environment like this and the lights are completely changing, how would you feel as an opposing team?
I mean, you turn the vice lights on me, and I don't know. I don't know. I mean, if it's not in my eyes, a shooter can shoot regardless. A good shooter can shoot in any lighting, but it's got to be a little intimidating at the least. Like, you're not used to playing under lights like that. It's not like the bright lights. Like, this is like, what's going on? What's going on?
It is.
It's a little out there.
It is. Quite frankly, it would, as a player, it would make me want to play better under lights, even if I was, on the opposite side here. But, these vice lights can get pretty hectic here. Best Coast Ballerz trying to finish out the first quarter strong. Take is no good. 4 seconds left. Got a heave at the buzzer. And that's going to do it for the first quarter here. The Yacht Club taking a 1-point lead here to end the first. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back in just one moment for second quarter action. Coming into this game, we've got a team that's won 4 out of their last 5, going up against a club here that's 2-3 in their last 5 games. They're looking to make a turnaround here as the Yacht Club sends the ball out of bounds on that block here. Tell me, why is it that the Best Coast Ballerz has been able to be so successful, especially down the stretch here? They won 4 out of their last 5 games, 11-4 on the season. What is their key to success?
I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it. We noted that, yes, Lasterius is the only ranked player on this team, and he surely makes the team go, but they're a very, very team-oriented kind of squad. A lot of guys can get a lot of things done. They're a very fluent offense. Ball stays moving, very free-flowing kind of offense, and when you have a guy like Lasterius in the middle of it, kind of conducting it all and doing things like that, I mean, they can put up points, and they play tough on defense, like we mentioned. Some of their bigs are a little more undersized, but they play like dogs. I mean, they play tough, they play dirty, they play hard. Not dirty in a bad sense, but they get down there. And so I think that all of that contributes. Kind of the mindset of it's a team game. It's not we're going to get this guy open at this time. Everyone can hit a shot when they need to, except for that time. But that's what I think their success comes from.
And that is very much true. Lasterius Outlaw being the leading scorer here for this Best Coast Ballerz team as the Yacht Club extends their lead to 3. And a steal here. Pull-up jumper. Good. The Yacht Club, even though the vice lights are not on right now, they're still putting on a show here to extend this lead to 5. Now, when you look at this Best Coast Ballerz team, we do talk about Ladarius Outlaw. We're going to take a quick short break here and be back here in just one moment. We'll have a baseline inbound here as we're back with more basketball action here. Best Coast Ballers down by 5 in this situation. The three-pointer is up, but it'll be no good, and the Yacht Club is on the other end. Now, as I was saying before the break, we do talk about Ladarius Outlaw a lot, but some person who's had an impact here early on as the steal is taken, and on the inside, finish good for Best Coast Baller, Ladarius Outlaw, making some big plays here early on. But one person to note in that first quarter was the new guy. Ray Ryder had 2 3-pointers starting off this game early.
And he's a big wing at 6'8", and being able to shoot like that with that kind of length, it's a really hard shot to block. So I mean, he's showing out early, and hopefully he'll be consistent for him.
Full court pass into Outlaw, no good. Somehow this Best Coast Ballers team has to find a way to break this pressure and this press if they want to have a chance to get buckets on the inside here. But they do get the stop here, and it's in the hands of Outlaw. He's getting to the basket. Pulls up from the mid-range, and it's good.
He's having a day.
Plays Darius Outlaw with a tough mid-range jump shot to cut this lead down to 3 here. And on the other end, the post fade, no good. Rebound back inside, no good. And in the hands of Outlaw again here. And the Best Coast Ballers have seemed to have turned this game around here in this second quarter. It's a 1-point game now. Do you think they figured out the recipe to get through this press?
I mean, look, the recipe is a little easier to break when you've got a facilitator and a guy who can play like Darius. I mean, that's really the key, having a ball handler who can confidently break a press and get it to his teammates when they trap him. I mean, and the thing is, though, Darius, while he's amazing, you got to wonder, is he going to get kind of tired out? How are they going to break this press when he's not on the court? Is someone else going to step up and be that confident ball handler that's going to kind of break the press for him? Because right now they're not really running much of a scheme to break the press. It's everyone's spread out. Darius is going to handle it, and if someone gets open from the trap, we're going to pass it to him. So it's working right now for him. We'll see as the game gets on, if Darius gets a little fatigued or what they're going to do when he's not in the game. That's what I'm a little interested to kind of see.
Another shot taken there by the Yacht Club does not get it to fall. If you are the Yacht Club in this situation, as the ball is poked by Jay Laster, but doesn't get it, Darius gets the shot up and no good. But if you are the Yacht Club, what are you doing in response to this Darius run?
You just got to keep playing your game. I think that's kind of the thing. If you get a little panicked and you freak out, like, oh, he's going off, like, I don't think they need to switch up their defensive scheme. It's got to kind of be one of those things where it's like, all right, if Darius is going to score 30 tonight, we got to make sure none of his teammates put up, 15, 15, 15, like, next to him. If he's going to do his thing, fine. We got to play our game on offense, get our buckets. And we don't need to change our defensive scheme right now. We're up in the game. No need to freak out.
I guess that's the best way to go about it. If one person is just going to continue to do what they do, then you have to do everything in your power to make sure that the other players that are surrounding him aren't being as effective. So it's harder for him to have to go out and do more, which is a great game plan that the Yacht Club can get to. And that's exactly one of the main reasons why they have this 3-point lead. Outlaw has been the main person scoring, but who else do you look to whenever, no one else is able to get it done?
And that's, something I'm sure they're hoping Dre Ryder can kind of come in and provide for them a little bit, kind of a nice option to go to. But, especially when it's a guy like Darius, we're talking about that scheme of kind of don't freak out that one guy's having this game. Because Darius, no matter what you do, he's going to get his to a certain degree. So you can't be focused too much on that. You got to be focused on playing your game, staying disciplined, and not letting him change, throw you off your game. As soon as you let an opposing player throw you out of your game, you're done for it. You're done for it.
Well, it looks like the Yacht Club is game planning here as the platoon swap substitution is getting to work immediately. The starters have been put back into the game here, and they've extended this lead out to 5. Best Coast Ballers in desperate need of a response here. Pass inside, foul, no good. And that's going to send Lene Newman to the line here. Talk about a guy like Lene Newman. The big man for this team, the big guy down below. He's not the biggest of the big guys, standing at 6'8", 220 pounds, but he's one of those guys that goes in and gets it done, averages 7.4 points this season, 6.7 rebounds, and looks like some of his teammates like to call him Nene out there. What do you think of a guy like Lene Newman, an undersized big?
I mean, like I mentioned, I like his game. I'm a big fan of guys who are just kind of they play like a dirty role. They play they're not big stars. They don't need to get they don't need to get like the ball every possession. They don't need to do that. They're gonna create their points off of making good cuts down low, getting in good position, receiving the ball, going up, or getting offensive boards. I mean, he does a lot of the dirty work for this team, so I do have a lot of appreciation for the way Lene plays the game.
He's got offers from places like Oregon, Oregon State, and Washington, so it'll be great to see where this young man goes following his... Oh my goodness, the alley-oop does not connect there, and it's back in the hands of Max. He's going on the post, and at this point, it's too powerful, and Adam Max gets the foul and the and one finish.
That's a tough move, and Adam Max needs to turn it on a little bit. They've got a lead. If Adam Max gets going, the lead's just going to get bigger and bigger. Just adding another guy who can just kind of get it done. Yacht Club has a lot of those, and they just got to find that identity we were talking about. Because if they can get everyone to gel and get everyone in the right kind of situations, it's going to be a really dangerous team. But that's the big question: is can they do that?
Well, as they complete the three-point play here, it extends the lead to 6 here for the Yacht Club. We're just a little bit under 3 minutes here in this second quarter here. Ball at the top at Newman. He's going at it with Max. Max guarding him tough at the top of the wing. Inside, the finish is no good.
And it's interesting, Ella, we mentioned it earlier, but if you notice, Lake Darius Outlaw is not in the game, and they had a much harder time breaking the press on that last possession. And so that's something I want to keep watching is when he's not in the game, are they going to be able to efficiently break that press? Because that time they didn't break it until there wasn't a whole lot of time left, and they didn't quite get the best shot up that they might have wanted.
You know, it's interesting to state that the full court press, the longer that it takes for you to break it, the less time that they have to actually be able to run their offense here. And as you see, the Yacht Club is pouring it on here with the pressure. So we'll see what Best Coast has in store. As the lob is up and no good in the hands of Adam Max, and he's bringing it up the floor here in the hands of Bianco. Off the screen, he's going to the basket, and it's blocked by Newman. But Adam Max with the cleanup and the finish.
Newman's got to have help down there. He was chasing the block. Somebody else has got to crash the board. He can't protect the rim and get every board. That's not an easy thing to do. Somebody's got to crash the board. There he is crashing the board on offense.
Lene Newman.
That's what I'm saying. He does a lot of dirty work. A lot of dirty work.
That's a grown man's jam, one would say.
He works in waste management. I hear he's the heir to a waste management throne. That's where he gets his grind from.
And I've heard that's where you also work out at 2C. Would you like to know?
Waste management? Yeah, I'm actually on Reza Red's workout plan. He got his workout plan from me, so that's why he's so big. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Goodness.
Jesus.
What a slam. It might be time to wrap. After that one, it might be time to wrap this one up. What were they saying that the dunk contest is over, ladies and gentlemen? What a finish.
If that's not a demoralizer, I don't really know what is.
They might have to call up the funeral home for that one, as Dominic Bianco with the finish on the inside. His game is just, it's one of those transcending games. It's going to work out so well for him at the next level. Can you just tell us how important, give us a breakdown of, Dominic Bianco's game for people who may not know much about him?
I mean, first word that comes to mind when you see Dominic play, speed. This guy is quick. He's fast. He's going to beat you down the floor in transition. He's going to get to the rim when he wants. He's kind of he's a slimy little guy. He's going to get through the gaps. He's not the biggest guy, so he finds his way through those holes. He's quick. So before you know it, he's at the rim like right now, and there it is. He can get up too. To be honest, we talk about the next level. Guys he reminds me of, because of his speed, reminds me of guys like De'Aaron Fox, Kyra Lewis Jr., Anthony Cat Barber, if we remember him over there at North Carolina State. Just guys whose speed was too much to handle for an opposing team.
Well, that'll do it for the first half of basketball here at the Palm Center. The Yacht Club going out to an early lead here. And one of the main questions that I want to ask you, Siege, for this halftime, has the Dominic Bianco and Ladarius Outlaw matchup been what you've expected? Did you expect more? Did you expect less? What can we take away from that first half of basketball?
Well, it's been about what I expected. Both guys have definitely got theirs. We haven't seen Dominic guard laced areas most of the time, and that makes sense. That's fine. As much as we would all love to see it, it makes sense. It's the smart play from Coach Marcus Laster. So both of them have got their points. Marcus Laster, laced areas Outlaws had a great first half. Dominic got his. I mean, both of them showing out like they should be. Exciting matchup so far. I'd like to see Best Coast Ballers make a few adjustments, come back in the second half, make it an interesting game down the stretch.
Well, two of the best players in the Sim World League, top 20 players at their position, and we'll be back with the second half after this. And the second half of basketball is set to get underway here, ladies and gentlemen. And before we get into this game, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this, but I do feel like it does need to be said. It does need to be recognized. I do want to shout out one of the main people of our production team, and I just want to wish him a happy birthday. For all the people that are watching out there, I just want to wish him a happy birthday, and we appreciate everything that you do for the Sim World League, the time and effort that you put in, and we just want to say thank you and continue to do what you do best out there. So I just want to say I appreciate you to you and happy birthday to you. But back to this game, Yacht Club 46-37. Siege, what's the word? What's the word of the day?
Well, just real quick on that last note, I want to say that for your birthday, we're going to facilitate James Harden coming back to Houston. But on this game, we got Dominic. We're going to make that happen just for you. We got Dominic Bianco soaring through the air here. I'm going to say the word on this game, Yacht or Best Coast Ballerz has to find a way to break this press. Either find a way to break it without Lace Darius on the floor, or Lace Darius is going to have to play this entire second half. Because Yacht Club really got their big lead when Lace Darius left the floor, and it's because they couldn't really break that press and get any kind of offense going. They need to not let Bianco get loose. He had 8 in the first half. That did lead the Yacht Club, but that's not like a crazy outing in the first half for Dominic. So if they let him get loose off these first 2 quick buckets like that, I mean, it's going to be game over. They need to contain him.
Getting to the, Dominic Bianco getting to the basket there. No good. I get the names mixed up because they've been our 2 key points here in this game. But one person that we haven't mentioned that much, who's had quite a night himself. Who would you think that would be, Seed? One person that we haven't mentioned who's had himself quite a night. So there's been a lot of players that have stepped up here.
I got 2 guys, one from each team. Lene Newman, love his game as we talked about. And 2, what a pass. Just pause, what a pass.
Great pass there.
Resume, and on the other side, Tyshawn Ism is getting some minutes that we don't see him get enough minutes, I don't think. He has one of my favorite games in the league. I just love what he does. He's so talented for a guy who's willing to come off the bench and play that role. He had 7 in the first half. He looks great tonight. So those are the 2 guys I'm going for dark horse player of the game.
Oh! On the corner, and there it is, ladies and gentlemen. We've got ourselves a 3-point game here off the 3-pointer from Sky Buckner Williams in the corner.
And those 2 plays, those last 2 threes for Best Coast Ballerz, is a display of the difference against his press when Lace Darius is on the floor and when he's not. Both of those were Lace Darius breaking the press, finding an open teammate, and scoring. Whereas, like, when he wasn't on the court, they weren't doing that. So, I mean, it really just goes to show you the impact he can have on this team.
After that one, the 3-pointer is up and good by. Oh my goodness, I didn't even get to see that one. Dre Ryder with the 3-pointer up and good to make this a tie game here in the 3rd quarter. We see some substitutions made here for the Best Coast Ballerz, but ooh, on the other end, a grown man's finish. And we're gonna have a blocking foul here. It seems like a couple people aren't happy with the call. Rizzo Davis writes with a blocking foul here.
I get what he was going for, but I don't know why you're trying to take a charge 90 feet from the basket. I mean, a foul 90 feet away from the basket is never a good thing. You just never want to see that, so you got to be a little more careful than that.
This pressure has gotten to this Best Coast Ballerz team for the most part, but I think what we're starting to see is that Best Coast Ballerz, even though they're getting hit with the pressure, they're slowing down a little bit and starting to realize when they send 2 that someone's got to be open. So is that what we're seeing here from a coach's standpoint? Is that what the game plan is?
I mean, absolutely. You press and you trap, you find the open guy, especially if you're going to leave the open guy in the corner like that. It's really just a matter of can the ball handler be confident enough not to get rattled by the pressure and make that pass, which Lace Darius Outlaw is the guy that can do that.
And that's interesting to know. You know, when you have a great facilitator like that, someone who can get it open, as Jay Laster just completely misses on that 3-point shot. And here on the other end, what a finish. Evangelos Mullins with the slam.
The Aaron Gordon lookalike doing Aaron Gordon things.
That was a grown man's finish. Jay Laster here on the other end. No good. Rebounded by Mullins. And Best Coast Ballerz now with a tie game here have a chance to take the lead in the hands of the Outlaw. He gets to the basket. He drives and he finishes off the right side.
Too easy.
You know, I was quite surprised when they started spraying down those threes. I didn't hear the iconic seed. What would you call it? Your iconic quote, your iconic saying, your iconic line. I didn't hear that one. The Yacht Club with a response there. Garrett Hall with the 2. We'll just have to wait till another one comes here. We might get it here in the corner. No good, but back out in the hands of Outlaw. He's trying to set up some offense here. It's been quite a back and forth here in the 3rd quarter as Ladarius Outlaw with the finish on the inside.
I mean, that was a great finish. I don't know why it's such a long face there for him. He looked upset about that one.
I don't know. Maybe it might be because, you know, he might be mad that other things aren't going for him, that he's not able to impact the game the way that he wants to. But he's had quite an impressive night tonight. I wouldn't say his head needs to be hung down for this one. Laster getting to the basket and blocks.
Whoa.
Delos Mullins with the rejection.
Oh,
it is stolen away by Laster. And on the other end, he gets the 2-point finish to tie this game back up. This game has been nothing short of just straight action here throughout these 3 quarters. Pass inside and the finish by Best Coast Ballers. That's
there it is.
Austin Avon.
The double comes. Ajavon knows that he's not a really a shooter, so he's gonna cut to the rim. Darius is gonna find him. You gotta have guys around the guy who can facilitate, who know their strengths and know what to do when their defender helps off. If you're a shooter, sit out there, be ready, catch and shoot. And if you're a guy like Ajavon, you gotta cut to the basket and he's gonna find you. Irish string green arrow.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. The 3-pointer good in the corner by Ladarius Outlaw. It might be a big 20, 30-point night for him. A big night. On the other end, the response, no good. That was Jay Laster who missed the 3 here.
We might need to get our stat guy to check on this, but I wouldn't be surprised if Darius is going to be messing around with a potential triple-double by the end of this night.
He might be. He's been all over the floor here tonight. As the rebound gets him the second chance pointer and the finish for the Yacht Club. We're sitting at a 3-point game here. In the hands of Mullins. He's got it at the top of the key. And Best Coast Ballers called a timeout.
Unofficial Irish.
We're going to take a quick short break here in the middle of the 3rd quarter, and we'll be back with you in just one moment.
To make it 2-possession game, and they will.
Definitely gonna have to look elsewhere.
Oh!
And after the timeout call here by the Best Coast Ballers, we get a chance to talk about a player who's completely impacted this game. 20 points, 5 assists, and an astounding 7 rebounds. And Ladarius Outlaw. Siege, why hasn't the Yacht Club been able to contain this guy?
I mean, who can really contain this guy? If we're being honest, he's a menace. I mean, this guy knows how to play basketball. He's not just a talent. He's got the brains to go with it. He's got a high basketball IQ. He knows what needs to be done. He knows how to find the spots, whether that's the spots facilitating, finding his teammates in the right spot, whether that's finding the spots knifing through the lane to get himself an easy basket inside, whether that's finding the spots off the ball to catch and shoot, whether that's finding the spots to get an easy rebound. He can find the spot. That's what he's best at. He's just a very high IQ player, and you couple that with the talent that he's got, he's very hard guy to contain.
Ladarius Outlaw, the man who is just known best for finding the spots here. As we get a foul called by Tamir Johnson here, and that's going to send, that's going to send Dre. That is Dre Ryder, That is going to send Dre Ryder to the line here. And to note someone that he has been having himself a nice game, but one thing to note here, as we started to notice throughout this game, speaking of Tamir Johnson, he had a couple of shots here early in the first, but he started to falter away here. Is the game plan starting to fade away from Tamir? He seemed to have the hot hand early on.
Yeah, I think that's been something that's been tough for the Yacht Club all season. Yes, some guys get the hot hand. They haven't been able to find a way to make in-game adjustments and find that identity that we say is so key for them that's going to let them keep that going. Guys, other than Dominic Bianco, we see a lot of guys, and I would say Jay Laster too. Other than those two, we see a lot of guys start off hot or have a hot second half or something, but not necessarily stay consistent throughout the game. And I think that comes down to in-game adjustments and, hey, let's ride this hot hand. How do we get this guy to get more points?
There's Darius Outlaw in the corner for three, no good. And when you talk about a team's identity, it seems like a lot of times it'll be the players that are starting to get to that moment where they are hot, but they seem to falter away because they don't have the ball in their hand as much, or they're not in the game as much here. And Dominic Bianco with a double clutch slam here.
He's just so quick. I swear I blinked and he was at the rim. He was behind the three-point line when I blinked, and there he was at the rim.
And the lob here, no good, intended for Lene Newman. And on the other end here, in the corner for the Yacht Club, kicks it inside to Johnson. Back out to Bianco. Let's see what he does here. And it's ripped away, and that's going to do it for the end of the third quarter. Your Best Coast Ballers, who was down early in this one, have seen to turn things around here in this third quarter. After these short messages, we'll be back with the fourth quarter.
Sit them sideways,
That game, and they will.
it's my time in line.
Elsewhere.
Define, there's no denying I'm tight. Just keep it alive. Like Sean Paul, and I'll be straight. You see me leaning so hard, it's like I need a V8. I needed a break. I'm toting the hand. As I did a show in the front row of the Copacabana. My lyrics will give a nigga hope in the slammer. Since I'm all about my dough, you ain't gon' blow out my candle. Hope in hand, R.E. double. When I fall off in the club, nothing but love. VIP, no cover. None other. Burn rubber on dubs. Sitting in the Lex Bubba, drinking my cup. Mix my Belvedere with Everclear, cause I'm still a thug. This is the remix, nigga. So bang this here in your truck.
Riding sideways, candy dripping wet, we mixed it. Now we in our private jet with the candy wet, and we gon' sit it sideways. Third coast, baby, we was born to parlay. Riding sideways, candy dripping wet, we mixed it. Now we in our private jet with the candy wet, and we gon' sit it sideways. Third coast, baby, we was born to parlay. I'm still reclining, letting the top down, diamonds glaring, remixed it, and now we got the whole world staying. See, it's true, playboy, we representing that text. Boulder so big you can't fit it round my neck. Dragging my knuckles on the floor cause the bracelet is sitting so heavy. Dog, I need a hand. Kick it, call me the lumber man like Paul Bunyan. Cause I get all my steaks and my funyuns in 2x4. Mansion doors, pull up on big screen. Sitting in the hot tub, I'm looking so clean. Bling, bling. Yes, sir, ballin' became a habit. I'm blowing up on this cabbage, I'm blind across sea. Got 03s with the sprees. Man, I got the beat knocking. Bob's watching cause it's hit for hit. Featuring Red, AJ, and CT up on the remix. For the fly ladies and Louis Vuitton teams. Independent women out making they fucking cream. Get your fetty, baby, cause it's oh so lovely. We sipping bubbly in a day. And we riding sideways, candy dripping wet, remixed it. Now we in our...
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back here with the start of the fourth quarter in such an exciting game here. But I do want to ask you, to the people who are watching at home, do you want to be a part of the excitement? Do you want to be a part of such amazing basketball? Well, you have the opportunity to do so if you join our Discord, discord.gg/SimWorldTV. If you have the game, come be a player. If you have the brains, come be a coach. We're accepting all new members, so like I said, go check out the Discord down below, discord.gg/SimWorldTV, and we'll see you there soon. See the game, be the game. Back out here with a 2-point game here. Three-pointer up and good for Dre Ryder. Dre Ryder recently joining the team and making an impact here early on.
He's making a case to be the number 2 option right now. Oh my God. Jesus
The
Christ.
drive
Thanks,
and the
Willis.
finish for Willis.
If you go a little back on 247, you'll find an article, a player profile on Trey Willis from before the season started, and his player comp in it, I believe, was John Wall, and sometimes I watch him slam the ball, and I just think John Wall.
I mean, I'm not seeing him out here doing Dougie's anything, but I think John Wall would be a great comparison to the way that Trey Willis plays night in and night out for this team.
I think especially
Double
if you were
team
to,
in the
if you were
corner.
to get him on a team where he was the number 1 option, we'd see him handle the ball a lot more. I think he's got that kind of player in him, but you know, I'm sure he's happy to play along a guy who can do that better than him and Dominic Bianco. So.
He's got a great opportunity to learn, and if he ever goes to a team where he is that #1 guy, he can definitely make an impact here. Bianco driving, getting to the basket, and he's blocked by Dre Ryder. In the hands of Adam Max, he gets the rebound and puts it back up here. You would say, you know, though, you mentioned earlier that the word for this game,
Jesus,
a block, a rejection, but it's going to stay here with the best coach Ballerz here. What a block!
that's assault. I just heard that the police are on their way.
I do see the siren lights outside. Don't worry, everything is perfectly fine. It was just a rejection. Three-pointer up and no good. Rebounded by Tamir Johnson, and now he's running it on the break. The Yacht Club needs to start making plays now if they want to have an opportunity, a chance to get back in this one.
And they really overcame that halftime deficit they had going. Great adjustments by Coach Aaron Murray in that locker room. He's a fantastic coach for a guy who only has one ranked guy on his team. As we know, being ranked is not all there is to being a good player, but a lot of rosters have more than that. But to have 11 wins on the season, I mean, there's a lot of credit that needs to go to Coach Aaron Murray.
And when you talk about, you know, the coaching battle, now that you mention it, Coach Murray versus Coach Laster, probably some of the top coaches in the Sim World League, and they match up quite well here. As you see, we've got a 66-64 game here. What do you think of Coach Laster?
I like Coach Laster. I think Coach Laster has done a great job in certain aspects. I'm going to call it how I see it. I will challenge Coach Laster. He is doing a great job. I'll give credit where it's due on continuing to make adjustments and not getting stuck in a certain way of thinking, in a certain way of game planning, because they need to find that identity. But my challenge for him is, by the time that, you know, we're in the last 10 games of the season, they need to have a solid identity by then. And he has to be part of finding that identity. He's got to be the driving force. The players need to be part, but he's got to be the driving force. Irish Spring Green, another for Dre Ryder. What a game he's having. But that's my challenge. That's my challenge for Coach Laster. Find an identity for this team. Make them fit to it. Get your players to buy in. Because with that, this team could be a real dangerous squad.
Dre Ryder there with a three-pointer in the corner, and sees himself challenging Coach Laster here late in this season. But I believe it's a good one, and we'll see if he's up to it. We might get an interview or something about it later on as Tamir Johnson comes up with the steal, and it's in the hands of Bianco. The lay and the finish. It's just his ability to just off the floor just absolutely rise up, and his reaction time is just so much quicker than a lot of players out. As the slam goes down for Lene. 73-68 here in the fourth quarter, coming up on 4 minutes left here in this game. If there needs to be a surge, it needs to be right now. And it's looking like that's what the Yacht Club is trying to go for here. As the miss is no good, rebounded back in the hands of Max. The mid-range is offline here, and it's back in the hands of Ryder. Pushing it up the court, best coach Ballerz with another bucket. It seems to me that, you know, the way that this best coach Ballerz team has been going, Darius Outlaw, Trey Willis with another finish.
He's got like 5 dunks on the game, and they've all been highlight reel dunks. This is insane.
They have been. This best coach Ballerz team as a unit has been doing a great job of containing their lead here. Play right on the inside, and it's no good. Rebounded by Willis, and they're on the run here again. Down 5 here. The Yacht Club needs something big, and it's going to Bianco on the inside. He misses, but they get the rebound back, and they're going to reset here. Coming up on 3 minutes now. Willis for 3. That's good. The Yacht Club, good selection of shots here to wrap up this fourth quarter. The three-pointer in the corner, good for best coach Baller. Wright Johnson knocks it down from that right corner, and it seems that right corner is a hot spot for this team right now.
Yeah, I mean that's where they're leaving them open when they run this press, and they're hitting their shots. No way.
Bianco spin jumper, good. Dominic Bianco willing his team back into this game. And the timeout is called by the Best Coast Ballers. We'll take a quick short commercial break and be back here with the rest of this fourth quarter action. And we are back here with 2:26 left here in this fourth quarter. Siege, I have a question for you. If you could only be in Miami for 1 week and you had 3 things that you wanted to do, what are those 3 things on your bucket list to do in Miami?
I'm going to see Jimmy Butler in the playoffs. It wouldn't be the same time of year, but I'm going to a Finns game. And I'm going to see my boy Toshiro down at the crib that I get my crab rangoons at. He's got
crab rangoons.
He's got a wonderful family. They're very nice, always been very good to me. So I'm going to see my boy Toshiro. That's the third thing.
I agree. I'd have to agree. Maybe we could see a one-set James Harden in a club, maybe, but that's dependent on the time of year. As Tamir Johnson here with the finish after the steal to cut the lead down to 4. What a star.
This Yacht
game with 2 minutes left.
This Yacht team plays above the rim. Great Ryder with another.
And we're getting to that point, Siege, where this game could really go either way if the Yacht Club start making some plays here. And while we have time here, I do want to note that there have been some amazing performances out there on the floor tonight. Dominic Bianco.
Jesus
my
Christ.
goodness.
He's got a family.
He's got a family.
I'm going to see that one on my Wheaties box next week.
I need that to be in a top 10 somewhere. That's got to be in a top 10 somewhere. It may not even be in the SimWorld top 10, but that's got to go in a top 10 somewhere. And the lob up here, no good, but the finish on the inside here for Best Coast to extend their lead out with 1 minute and 30 left. But as I was saying before, there has been a lot of great performances tonight here. Obviously, the man himself, Darius Outlaw, with the 20-point, 10 assists, double-double, and 7 rebounds. Dre Ryder just recently got picked up.
Jesus Christ!
Dominic Bianco, I can't even.
Jesus Christ!
What a finish. Another jam here. But Dre Ryder, we noted once again, who had an amazing night here tonight with 19 points, recently signed to the team. Recently picked up to the team and had an amazing night tonight. We've had a lot of big performances tonight here, and it's not over yet. Lace getting to the basket and a tough finish over Adam Mack. Siege, who would you say, had a staple in this game? Because it could go to anybody either way here.
I mean, look, I would love to give it to Dre Ryder. He had a great game in his first performance for this team. Definitely made a difference, but with the performance that Darius Outlaw put on this game, if West Coast Ballers pulls this out, he's really the only choice for the player of the game, I think. Now, if he's my player of the game on books, if the Yacht Club finds a way to come back, it's got to go to Bianco. And as we knew coming into this game, those were the two guys to watch, and they have both put on shows for their respective teams. So, I mean, what a game we've got here.
Well, with 39 seconds left on the clock, exactly, West Coast Ballers has a 4-point lead. But with the foul call here, that's going to send Evangelos Mullins to the line here to see if he can extend it to 6.
Big free throws here.
Well, while we have a quick short break here, we do have the post-up coming up after this one, followed by another primetime matchup where South America will be hosting Showtime basketball. It should be an exciting matchup for that one. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that one. I'll be excited to watch that one myself. So make sure you guys stay here with us for the post-up. And then immediately following that, we'll have more Sim World action. 6-point game here with 36 seconds left in the hands of Bianco. He's getting to the basket, and the finish is no good. Adam Max is forced to foul, and that's going to send Renee Newman to the line. And in all likelihood, that might just do it, Siege, if he knocks these down.
Big free throws here, but yeah, this could really put the nail in the coffin. That half-court press looked real good for the Yacht Club before half, but I'll give props where they're due. Coach Aaron Murray and West Coast Ballers really came out with the adjustment second half and were able to overcome that deficit. And they've turned what was a strength in that half-court press for the Yacht Club into a weakness in the second half. So props to them.
It's been such an exciting game of basketball here. And with this free throw knocked down the West Coast Ballers, it looks like, well, I was wrong. Excuse me. I was wrong on that one. He missed the free throw. But with a 7-point lead here and 22 seconds left, they're trying their best to do what they can as Dominic Bianco is just putting up another highlight reel play celebrating. But lo and behold, ladies and gentlemen, it just seems like it will not be enough here as Buckner Williams is headed to the line. He's had himself a nice night tonight. We haven't talked about him much, but he's had himself a nice night tonight too.
Yeah, real great team effort, obviously spearheaded by Lace Darius and Dre Ryder, but Lene Newman had a great game, Evangelos Mullins had a great game, Buckner Williams had a great game, Avon had his moments. I mean, they're just all around, like we said before we started, this is a team that's very team-oriented. They have a very free-flowing offense. Whoever's open is going to be the guy to get the shot. So really just showed what their game plan was and what their identity was. That's something that West Coast Ballers does have. They have an identity, and they showed it tonight.
Well, this timeout here, we'll see the West Coast Ballers, if they go out to win this game, to advance this to a 12-4 on the season, and the Yacht Club will be falling to 7-9 on the season. This has been such a great matchup of basketball. Like I said, stay tuned with us. We will have the post-up coming up after this, followed by some more primetime Sim World TV basketball, so you want to stay tuned for that one. Should be an exciting one. We have Mood and the Big Bob on the call for that one, so you guys want to stay tuned for that one.
What a duo we got on call for the second game.
You don't want to miss it. I tell you now, you do
That's
not
a rare
want to
one.
miss it.
That's a rare one. It's a rare
It
one
is.
to get either of those guys on a call, let alone both of them together. I'll certainly be tuning in for that.
It will be a big one.
Gonna go over my boy Toshjiro's house. He's got an 85-inch LED TV in his living room, so I'm gonna go and watch with him and the family.
Might have to join you on that one if you've got room.
Yeah,
on the
no,
couch.
you're
Obviously, I
more
don't-
than welcome. Toshiro would be more than happy to have you. He's a great guy. I'd love for you to meet him.
All right. Well, coming out of this timeout here, we're looking at a 7-point game here with 20 seconds left. Best Coast Ballers looking to finish this one out strong here. It's been such a great game from start to finish. Great performances, making great plays, some top 10 worthy plays, I must say, but plenty of them. There will be plenty of. I want to see at least 3 in the top 10 from this game alone, because there was plenty of them.
We could have half the top 10 be gift plays from this game, to be honest.
Bianco in the corner for 3, and he'll knock it
He's
down
not
here.
done. He's not done.
He said he's not finished. Timeout called by Best Coast Ballers. That'll be their last timeout. There are no timeouts left, and the Best Coast Ballers are now in the bonus, so every single foul after this will send them to the line. We're going to take a quick short commercial break, and we'll be back with you in just a moment.
Remember those pesky squirrels?
Uh-huh.
Well, I trained them.
Fun! Squirrels cutting coupons.
Yep. It's going to save us a ton of money and time.
I love your brain, Bob.
Me too.
Enough! Your tyranny ends now, you filthy humans! Not up, my brothers!
You seem so cool.
Yeah!
Ow!
The day of the squirrel is upon us!
No.
Yeah!
Oh, it's biting my head! Oh, God, it's mating with my mouth. Mommy!
Just get it off!
Siege, I want to ask you a quick question. I'm going to give you 3 numbers, and I just want you to tell me what these 3 numbers have in common, okay?
Yeah, all right, let's play.
22, 12, and 7.
Is that?
It has been that type of night.
That's not my social. No, okay.
No, of course not. Of course not.
No, that's Lace Darius Outlaw's stat line, I believe. Hello.
It's been that type of night for him. It has been. And not only him, for this entire team. It's been such a great game.
It certainly has, but the Yacht Club has not gone away. Dominic Bianco with that big 3 after he's made big play after big play in this fourth quarter. He's exciting, but they gotta get a stop. They have not been able to stop them so far.
Either some stops and hoping for some missed free throws here, as the man himself is going to get sent to the line here to try to put away this game here with 16.8 left in the fourth quarter.
But you know what I want to shine some light on one more time before this game's over? Dre Ryder, in his debut, has 21 points for Best Coast Ballers. 5 for 6 from 3. I mean, coming in at a 6'8" wing with that kind of shot, I mean, he's going to be a danger to add to this team that already has 11 wins and one of the best coaches in the league. I mean, this is quite the addition. 3 blocks as well, I'm getting told by our stat guys. I mean, defensive addition as well. What an ad for this Best Coast Ballers team.
He's been all over the floor. He has been offensively, defensively. He's been all over the floor here, as the 3-pointer is no good. And they're still trying to drag this game out, ladies and gentlemen. I don't fault him. It's the fight in them. It's the fight in them. I don't fault him. You know, it's been a great game, and I hate for games to go out on free throws. But it's still the fight in them. Lace Darius Outlaw, at this point, just padding his stat sheet now at the line here. He's gonna knock down the first one.
He isn't gonna quite get to 30, but he certainly made an effort.
And substitutions are being made here, and in all honesty, after this free throw, that should just do it. Siege, I want to ask, does your guy at his house he's got some drinks, got some good drinks for us whenever we watch the second game?
Oh, Toshiro's got the good sake. We got the good Kirin Light if you're into light beer. It's the Bud Light of Japan, if you will. I mean, he's got the premium sake, so we're in good hands.
Well, that should do it. Best Coast Ballers coming in and taking the victory, 93-85 to the Yacht Club. We appreciate each and every one of you guys for tuning into today's broadcast. Stay tuned for the post-up, and we have another Sim World TV matchup coming up after this. See the game, be the game. So we're at the court, right? And I'm trying to let him know that, like, hey, whenever I'm, you know what I'm saying, whenever I'm playing up, I need him to switch with me because the guy kept coming across the corner and he's getting wide open threes in the corner, right?
Yeah.
And he's not listening to me, and I'm trying to tell him that. So I'm like, okay, look, watch this next play. Do exactly what you do and watch him be wide open in the corner. I sit there and stare at him. He watches the one guy run straight to the corner, watches him get the ball, doesn't move. He watches him get the ball and shoot the three. And I'm like, you see what I mean? He's wide open every time. And then he gonna look at me and be like, so why aren't you guarding him? I'm like, you were literally sitting still the entire time and watched him go to the corner. And at that point, it's just like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to tell my teammates? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand.
Hey, well, look, hey, sorry you guys had to hear that. We ran over a little bit. I am your man Yells here, and I'm here with LO. Great call on that first game, by the way,
Thank
LO
you.
of the night. And look, we're gonna jump straight into it, man. We had let me see here. I think I may be a little low on the volume here. Make sure you guys can hear me. Ernie.
Hey, well, I would say we did just come back from a great game, Best Coast Ballers and the Yacht Club. Definitely excited to be there for that one. All in all, great game, both sides of the basketball. And quite frankly, it definitely will show where these teams are going to be in these next coming weeks, what teams need to work on, what teams are good at, and what teams need to keep pressing for, as it comes to the, nearing the end of this Sim World season. So,
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you. Definitely want to ask, what did you see in this game that we just watched? What did you see as a main factor down the stretch as to how TYC was able to, or excuse me, Best Coast Ballers were able to take control of this game, because it was well in hand for Best Coast Baller for TYC earlier in that matchup.
well, the thing is, right, is that TYC had a great game plan coming in, and I feel like it was executed well. You got a guy like Dominic Bianco coming out with 25 points, right? He did his thing. Trey Willis, Adam Max did their thing. Adam Max had 11 points, 4 boys. It was a great game across the board, but what happened down the stretch is whenever they started going to that full court press, you started to notice that when Lace Darius Outlaw, when he was on the floor, he was
it does that to all of us.
Full court press. The name, I'll never understand it, but it was the full court pressure that essentially was their help and was their hurt. It was a double-edged sword for them. And when you have a guy like Outlaw who's able to pick apart your defenses, especially in a full court press where the floor is now so much spread out open, he was able to make so many different plays, right? He had 26 points himself, but the key thing was the fact that he had 12 assists, and a lot of those were off of the full court pressure, right? He was able to break the full court press, find players open in the corner for three, and that was one of the reasons why Best Coast Ballers was able to not only come back in this game and maintain their lead throughout that third and fourth quarter. So I feel like the biggest factor was Outlaw being able to see the full court press and break it, and credit to everybody else on the team for knowing where to be and when to break that press to get themselves in position to knock down shots.
Hey, and I'll add to that. I think one of the things that we saw with Lace Darius is, a lot of people slept on him last year for how everything went down. He had the injury. There were a few different things, but he was a baller last year. And then sometimes people look at him as nothing more than a scorer or a two guard, but he showed playmaking. He showed vision. He showed a lot of different things in breaking that press. So really interested that you brought that up. What about this Dre Ryder kid? Think he joined the squad maybe a game or two ago. Maybe he, I can't remember where he played earlier this season, then getting cut from teams. But 6'8", 195, if those numbers are correct. I think he was, let me see here, we'll pull out the board here. 21 points. 5 for 6 from deep, 2 blocks, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. What do you make of this kid?
And it's one of those situations where, look, you get caught up, right? Whatever level it is, high school level, college level, NBA level. Guys get caught up all the time. Guys get dropped down all the time, right? So when you get called up and your number is called, your name is called, they're expecting you to step up and make some big plays. And it was simply that for Dre Ryder. It was, and the thing that really, caught my eye was 5 of 6 from 3, right? Because you could get called up, right? And you could play your role, but at the 3-point line to have such an efficient 3-point percentage throughout the game, right? I feel like that was big, right? You said he was 6'8", shooting 3-pointers like that. He's dangerous, right? I feel like he could be a great player for any team. So it's big the fact that Dre Ryder came in, was confident, trusted the game plan, coaches trusted him, and he was able to go out there and do what everybody expected him to do and be a contributing factor in this win.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, look, best coast got it done. They showed that they were the best coast, at least tonight, in the matchup of East versus West. No TYC for TYC, but look, we got another game.
I'll say that right now. No TYC.
No TYC, or is that supposed to be TLC? Whatever it is. Hey, look, so
it works.
It works. Cool. Shout out to the men behind the scenes. So we got another matchup coming up. We've got Showtime basketball. They've been up, they've been down, they've been all around, and they're headed out to Brazil, and we know there can be some trouble out in Brazil. But look, hey, they're headed out to take on SimWorld South America, man. We've seen what Showtime has done when the lights have been the brightest. We've seen how they've kind of faltered at times when maybe the spotlight has not been on. What do you think is going to happen in this matchup tonight?
Well, first off, right, you're going into any sort of game, you're going into a hostile environment at any level, right? You're not at home. You're not comfortable, right? That's the big thing, right? Showtime basketball has been one of those teams where they play well, right, whenever they're comfortable, whether it be at home in situations that they're comfortable with, right? But when you go on the road and the lights aren't bright for you, they're bright for somebody else, right? First thing is you gotta trust your team. You gotta trust what you've built. You gotta trust your organization, what the coaches have game plan. You have to trust that when the lights aren't bright for you, right? That's the first thing. Second thing, right? You got to put the ball into your hands of your playmakers, right? The people that you have trusted to carry you throughout the beginning of the season, Bronny James, Bryce James, Corey Yams on the inside, Nick Moss. I know he just got removed from the starting lineup, I've heard, but Nick Moss, right, coming off the bench or whatever position that he plays, he needs to have a big night tonight. So when the lights aren't on for Showtime, they still have to continue to put on a show, trusting the game plan, trusting the coaches, trusting their teammates, trusting each other. And it'll really be smooth sailing for that team. That's all it is. Continue to play the basketball that you've been playing throughout this entire season.
They're a really good team. People try and write them off. Bay Area gets a lot of love out west. We just watched Best Coast. I mean, the West Coast is loaded, man. There's been talk in and out about Cascadia, Rocky Mountain. So, we could go on and on. But Showtime basketball, we saw a little bit of action in the Discord, and no favorites here. Y'all know I come for everybody's neck. But Bronny James is a monster. Bob can hate him all he wants. I can dislike his dad all I want, but Bronny James is clearly the best player, if not in the prep level world, at least in SimWorld High School or SimWorld Hoops. And they have a slew of other cats on this team. You got Corey Yams, man. Basketball is not all about scoring, right? And a lot of times the greatest impact players aren't going to be putting up gaudy stats. If you guys remember that year, Andre Iguodala won MVP in the finals MVP, and the numbers were just like, they just look like any other player that may have played 12 minutes in a 48-minute game. But Corey Yams is a great defender. He's in the right spots. He's out there setting picks. He helps that team go, and they brought in some pieces. I like Showtime a lot. I will say this, though. SOAM, South America, what they got to lose? I mean, they've been sucking. So this is when a team is the scariest, right? When they have nothing to lose.
I was gonna say just that. It's one of those things where, like, when you're a team, you look, you're 6-10, you've lost 4 of your last 5, right? And it's not looking too good, right? It's just one of those things where, like you said, a team that's got nothing to lose, it's got to be the most dangerous team out there, because they're at this point, the book is wide open. They're doing whatever, right? And if you're not prepared, right, then it's gonna hit you hard. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna hit you hard. So, like,
before we get off this segment, I will say it's not like they're not skilled. They have some very good players on that team. They just hasn't led to wins thus far. So, but look, hey, You had something else before we get on?
All I'm saying is, look, if you're Showtime, be prepared for the storm, right? You're going into a crazy environment, right? So be prepared for the storm. Not only that, right? If you're South America, you've got nothing to lose, so put it all on the line. This game should really be a great game. I really do see this being a great game coming down to the wire. So you want to stay tuned and watch this one.
Yeah. Well, look, you know how we do before we get out of here in the tradition. Thank you, Maestro. This is an ode to you. We keep it going. We talked some basketball. Now we're gonna talk. We're gonna get a little off subject with the SimWorld hoops.
Right.
Anthony Davis, James Harden, or a wet rag in the fourth quarter of a playoff game. Who you going with?
You know, and hey, and I need y'all to listen closely because I just got my answer. Right. Okay. Going with the wet rag. The reason why, right? Because the wet rag, out of the three options that was given to me, the wet rag is going to be the most consistent. It's always going to be wet. You know what I mean? It's a wet rag. It's going to be the most consistent when it comes to the fourth quarter. So I'm going with the wet rag. Plus, you know, it leaves a trail of water, right? And other people could get caught up in the water and in the waves. Might be slipping out there. I'm going with the wet rag, all right?
I thought I was going to be the one to give a crazy answer. Look, so because everyone knows what I'm going to say, and I'm right there with you. Okay, so let's take wet rag off the table. It's been quite an off season, or quite a postseason for us to see what teams are all about. Which one are you going with and why? Realistically.
If we're taking out the wet rag, who I think is dropping 30, 10, and 12 a night, let's be honest. But if we're taking off the wet rag, I'm going to have to go with... I'm just going to have to go with, James Harden. And I know you're happy about that pick, but I'm going to have to go with James Harden because, the way that he's able to, impact the game in multiple different ways, right? I think... That's huge. So I'm gonna go with James Harden, right? He's got the shot. He can dish and dime, right? He can get to the basket, get a finish, right? And I just want somebody, if I'm gonna put the ball in their hands, I want them to have multiple ways to win me that basketball game, right? I don't want to put it in the trust of one person who can only do one thing, right? So I'm going to go James Harden. I feel like he's quite versatile, right? And I can use that to my advantage. If he's not taking the shot, then he could set somebody else up to take the shot. So I'm going to go with James Harden.
Well, I think either way it goes, either one you pick, I'm not going to really throw anything out there, y'all. I'm partial. But right. I think what we can say from this postseason, what has been brought to the light is, and we see it a lot with SimWorld hoops at the prep level. Also, it's very hard to make decisions based on what you would like to have happen versus what's actuality. We look at both of those guys, their skill set, their stature, what we know about them, and here's what should happen and why you would make that selection, why you would make certain decisions. But sometimes you just got to look back and see what is actually panned out. And so, perception, our perception and our expectation is not always what reality is. So, hey, I've enjoyed having you on here, man. I've enjoyed being on here. Can
we get James Harden to the Rockets? Can we get him there, please? That's all I'm asking. Hey, James Harden to the Rockets. Let's get him there, y'all. Let's get him there. Let's get him there.
And that's definitely how you get us to wrap a show up if I'm here.
Let's get him there.
That's
let's
LOB.
get him there right now.
Oh my goodness, guys! Thank you for joining us. We got a good one coming up. South America, SimWorld South America hosting Showtime basketball. We got Big Bob in the building. We got Mood in the building. So stay with us. Game coming up in about 5.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gimnasio Oscar Schmidt Stadium here in Porto Alegre, Brazil, for the second game of our SimWorld doubleheader tonight. I'm joined in the booth by the ever-eclectic Big Bob. Bob, how are you doing tonight?
I'd be better if you weren't using big words that I don't understand. But how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing quite well. I just watched that first game, and man, I absolutely love that battle. LDO Bianco, it does not get better than that.
Yeah, Bianco really put on a show. He's another one of those guys that if he's not in the dunk contest when the season's over, I think there's going to be some riots going on.
Absolute farce if he's not indeed. I've seen that guy poster too many people at this point.
Right, who hasn't he postered at this point?
Let's think. Adam Max.
I don't know.
Some teammates.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we just don't see too many of their practices. So.
Right. I'm not sure Adam Max would take too well to that leaking out either way.
No, I'm sure that he would have another suspension in there if that got leaked out.
Oh yeah, and it's set to be a good one tonight, as we're going to see a South America team that's trying to get back on the mend here, as they just snapped a 10-game losing streak in their last game against APAC.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to seeing Patricio Ramirez tonight. He was by far one of my favorite players. One of my favorite players last season. He didn't get a lot of love because we didn't really give too much love to the international teams. And finally this year, now that they're thrown into the regular schedule, we're getting to see a little bit more of him. He's kind of died off a little bit after they start 5-0 and then they've lost about 37 in a row. So, but to me, I think he's going to be the key for SimWorld South America to pull out a win tonight against Showtime, but I'm not sure that he's going to be able to do it alone.
Absolutely, I think so too, and given SOAM's poor play, Patricio Ramirez is still just stuffing the stat sheet night after night. He's still leading the league in multiple categories. So, it'll be highly dependent on him playing well, but it's a supporting cast, like primarily I'd say Carmelo Vega, Enrique Abalume. If Mike House could do some damage, that'd be great.
Yeah, and I think Sampaio needs to really do something. I mean, he's probably... you can argue who their second-best player is on this team, but I think that Sampaio is really their second-best player, and he's kind of... Him and Abalume are kind of... They're neck and neck, and they're just not giving Ramirez enough help right now.
I think what SOAM needs is just one of those guys to really step up and put a novel performance here against a Showtime team that just came off a blazing win, to say the least, against the Yacht Club.
Yeah, I really expected it to be a little bit of a closer game, but you never know what Showtime's going to show up. I mean, they had some guys really step up. Nice 3 to start the game. They had some guys really step up that don't normally step up, specifically Corey Yams. He came out of nowhere in that last game.
Right, and I think that Nick Moss start played a lot into that win. He is normally on the bench, came off, made an impact, took a few errant shots, but then really got into the flow of his game. Not getting the starting nod tonight, he has Ethan Letterman Jr. starting over him as Bronny James called for a charge.
Yeah, that's that kind of cheap stuff from Bronny that just we can't let him get away with that stuff. Unfortunately, he didn't here.
Well, it seems Bron has showed him a few things or two.
Oh man, let's not get started. I'm gonna ignore. I'll ignore that. We don't need to turn this into a LeBron hating session. But no, I think that tonight I need to see some more from Bryce. Clearly the second best player on the team, but he is. I mean, give him 2 more years. He's got 2 more years in SimWorld hoops. Before he's probably going to head off to college, only 15 years old. I mean, he can play till he's 18, but I don't think he's going to be one of those guys that sticks around here for 3 more years. But Bryce James is just a better physical specimen. He's got some nice arms, nice legs, smooth skin. Anyways, so yeah, great game so far.
For sure, as Bronny James picks up his second foul not even 2 minutes into the ball game. And what you're saying about Bryce, I think Bryce, I think he can be a better player than Bronny. I think it all has to do with his aggression and his skill set on the court. I think he just needs about 1 or 2 years to really show what he's got.
Yeah, in my honest opinion on this team, if I'm looking at them 10 years down the road, I really think that Jackson McLean is probably going to be the best player on this team in the long run. I just think that he has just done a whole lot. He's not just the 6'10" guy running down there and hanging out in the paint. He can do a little bit of everything, or at least it appears that he can do a little bit of everything. He's not stuffing the stat sheet. He's averaging a little under 5 points a game, a little under 4 rebounds a game. But I think that overall, talent-wise, I think that he's really got what it takes to be the best player on this current Showtime team.
And there's some of that potential there flashing from Bryce James on the fadeaway shot as the steal was unsuccessful by Juck McGee.
How much more space did he need to take that three? Did he need all 5 of Showtime to run off the court?
I don't know, quite a bit of hesitancy there. Puts it up and out. And that was Addison Sampaio out there just wide open on the perimeter. No one in sight as Yams slams it down.
Yeah, I mean, if Sampaio, if anybody on South America is going to be passing up those wide open looks, you can say goodnight real early.
Absolutely. I think you need every open shot you can get against this Showtime team. That's a great drive there.
Yeah, it was a nice drive by Vega.
Vega putting some points up on the board as Juck McGee brings it down. Tied 6-6 with 5:20 remaining.
Oh, this is I love this. I love whenever, you know, they're young kids. Their IQs are not fully developed.
Yeah, you know, just not much motion.
Nice
As
three.
Bryce James, tough shot there at the end of the shot clock. That was a bailout shot on a possession that had no motion off ball.
No, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, was that Letterman just hanging on to the ball?
I believe it was, yes.
Oh, there's Sampaio cannot drive on them like that.
Absolutely not. I have no clue what he's thinking going up on Yams. That is quite a choice, to say the least. Oh boy, and Yams got some Sampaio, passes it out, curiously enough.
Yeah, not a smart choice there. That's
why
why
he
he's
got
not
caught in the air. Man, tough shot there by Juck McGee. Foot was on the line, so it'll be a 2.
You know, I really question. I don't know which line some of these refs see whenever a bunch of these Sim World hoop games over the last. I mean, it's just been all season. It's been for the last 2 seasons. I don't get it. Like, I'll see a clear. There's like a foot between the guy and the 3-point line, and it's a 2. A full foot over the line, and it's a 3. And they must be partying with Rick before the game, because I just don't get it.
I think if they were partying with Rick, they'd be far more inebriated than that, as Bryce James gets the block. Corey Yams bringing it down here center court.
Some good movement here. A lot
And
better
with those
movement than
quick
the
fouls
last.
on Bronny James, we're going to see a little more of the Showtime bench here to start the game. Shot clock winding down again. Shot on the baseline. Ow.
Tough shot.
And that's Mark Chisholm, and Showtime is taking advantage of their opportunities here on the floor.
Yeah, I wonder if Bronny gets in, if Bronny fouls out, which I think we've only had 2 of those in the entire SimWorld season, SimWorld Hoop season. I wonder do you think Showtime has a chance with Bronny out, if that were to happen?
See, I think they do. I think as long as they stick to the game plan, don't get too ISO oriented, and start having some motion in their offense, then I think they'll be just fine. Corey Yams blowing the layup on the inside. Much credit to Patricio Ramirez there as well.
Ooh, tough pass. I would not have made that pass. We're gonna get a 3 in the key here.
Nope, he runs out to avoid it, hits his own board, puts it up and in.
That was a terrible possession that he just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
And timeout called by Showtime as South America is putting together a few possessions here of scoring, and we're going to take a quick break, and there will be more first quarter action when we return in Porto Alegre, Brazil. And we are back with more first quarter action here on SimWorld TV. South America putting together a little run there before the Showtime timeout. Bronny James out with 2 fouls, 2:06 left here in the first.
Yeah, and Showtime brought in a very interesting lineup right now. I guess when Bronny James is out, you really do get to see a little bit of everybody else. I don't know if that's... I don't know if it's a good thing. I feel like it might show that Showtime doesn't really know what their depth looks like by giving everybody some time.
It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. It's good because these guys are finally getting in-game reps that they need, and the coach can kind of get a handle on like expectations from the bench. Also a bad thing to have the leading scorer in SimWorld of Hoops out on the bench. But of course, it's a double-edged sword. That is a deep 3. Now that will not go.
You got to get the James Harden in there, throw a shoulder in, and pretend like you're getting fouled, and try and make something happen. That was not a great shot.
Yep, put the shoulder out, kick your feet out, everything. Abalume called for the first. An excuse me foul there by Enrique Abalume.
I feel like the ref has to be. They had to give that to Showtime. Something must have happened earlier in the game that we missed where they felt like they had to give that to them.
Jukagi shooting 2 free throws all the same. And this is quite a nice venue, I'd say, Bob. Great ode to Oscar Schmidt. Very nice state-of-the-art building.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any... I was going to say I don't know if there's any bad arenas or stadiums little that we go to here, but I would be lying if I said that. Have you stepped in? Have you ever walked on the streets in Philadelphia?
Oh boy,
it is not any safer in Philadelphia's court, in the home court. So there is a man. What is there? There is a good Italian place, I guess.
Italian.
There's a good Italian place just outside of Philly, somewhere in King of Prussia. I couldn't tell you what it was called, but ooh, nice shot. Good 3.
Well, sit and think on that, Bob. I'm quite curious to hear the name of this restaurant.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. It's been a long time. I never even remembered it when I went to it, but I just knew it was good. So use your imagination.
As Jackson McLean puts it in, known for his rim protection defensive prowess. He most definitely showed that last game against TYC. That Adam Max matchup is a tough one, but he sure ate it up.
Oh yeah, like I said, I really do believe I really believe that Jackson McLean. He's just, I don't know. I don't think Showtime has given him the opportunity to really shine. I think that they went on their little losing streak there around the time that Coach Chad Smith was, I guess, deciding whether or not, we'll pick that up because I didn't realize how close to the end of the quarter we were.
Right. And that'll be the end of the first quarter. We will catch you guys for more SimWorld action. Second quarter coming soon. And here we are back in the second quarter in Brazil. Showtime taking the lead there in that first quarter. Some interesting offense to start this game up.
Yeah, you know, I expected. I don't know what I expected from South America. I pretend that I have to hate. I pretend hate Showtime. I'll say I don't know. It's like probably like 40% pretend, 60% real hate. It's not even Showtime. It's just. Have you ever been out there? Because I haven't. I don't ever want to be out there.
I have not been out there either, so I cannot speak to the conditions.
Oh, there's a lot of homeless people. I'll tell you that.
Oh boy.
But yeah, anyway, Showtime, South America. Yeah, I don't really expect a whole lot when it comes to South America offensively, but Showtime's going to feed on that because they are 6th in the league with opponents' points per game. They're only giving up 65.7. And when you play a team like South America, I mean, they already held them to 13 points in the first quarter. So what, we're looking at an average 17, carried to 3, 32, 57, let's see, 10, 3, 4, 40, 62. I don't really know math, but I do know that it would be under the 65.7 points per game that they're averaging against.
Right.
But, really,
Moss, tough 3 there. Showtime lead up to 9, and Bob, that point difference was really interesting as Nick Moss goes in again because they're limiting their opponents to only 46% shooting every single time out. That's pretty impressive.
Absolutely. I mean, they have a lot of offensive firepower. Primarily, to say they have a lot of offensive firepower, I'd say probably what do we want to say? 80% of it's from one person.
Right. Yes.
But realistically, I mean, Bronny averaging 23.7 points per game. He's already scoring about half of what Showtime needs to be able to defeat the opponents whenever they're playing defense the way that they do. And you just need a couple people out there. Just a couple people averaging double digits or close to, which they got that. They got that with Bryce James. I think that they do need, for them to make a deep run in the race to 1, I do think that they need to have a third guy step up. They have a bunch of good guys outside of the James brothers, but nobody's really stood up and everybody else has a big 3. It feels like every other team has a big 3. I don't see that with Showtime. With the way that they use some of their players, like I said, I'm big on Jackson McLean. Corey Yams can be solid, but they don't put anybody outside of Bronny James and sometimes Bryce in position to really show off. But do you need that? Does Showtime need that? Not right now. But when you start running into the Lone Star basketball clubs and the Bay Area Breakers in the playoffs after they've had the entire season to work together, I just don't think that the James brothers are going to be enough.
Right, and the race to 1 is going to be a highly contested tournament there, and Showtime's going to need to be on their A game, like Bronny or not. They need a third guy to step up. I think that's why the intro of Nick Moss is very interesting. He started in that TYSA game, made a huge impact. He's hit a couple shots down the stretch here. Just an interesting prospect indeed. Nice deflection there by South America, and ended up with the possession. That's off your hands.
I will say that I feel like that was a poor decision by Bronny James to not take that 3 with his defender turning around and running to the basket for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, the decision making is interesting, and inbounder for South America at the half court. All right.
Well, I would like to point out that I would assume, so we talked about Nick Moss coming in, playing well, and then all of a sudden he's on the bench. That's that. I guarantee you LeBron's back there pulling strings. He doesn't want someone outshining his kids. He doesn't want someone outshining them. He's pulling them, and that's going to break this team apart.
Good. Right, as Moss puts it up and in. Further reinforcing your theory there, as the South America crowd is not happy about this Showtime run.
Yeah, I mean, can we hear them anymore? I mean, we're sitting right here in the middle of them, and I don't think I have heard a whisper in about, I don't know, 2 quarters.
I heard some quite raucous boos.
And that was for their own team. That's These are kids out here. You can't boo kids.
Yeah, you can't boo kids, especially on a stage like this. I mean, they're trying their best. They're playing against Bronny and Bryce, you know, two great players. Bronny puts it up and in.
Yeah, I mean, booing kids is rude, but hang on a second. Corey Yems, boo! I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah, no, I would like to see some more Nick Moss. I think that, I know that they have some, Showtime's an jeez, I can't say any words. Abnormally large team for a bunch of, ooh,
nice three there.
A nice three you got.
That's Jaime Luis.
Hold on. I'm gonna let me before you say it. I'm gonna let you say it, but I'm gonna say $20. You can't say it because I can't say it.
That's Jaime Luis Donoso.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
Can check Google. Oh, Bronny James Skies for the alley oop. Ooh,
Jaime Luis Donoso.
Jaime Luis.
I would have.
You gotta say it. Okay. You gotta say it in the tongue. Come on, Bob. Dig deep.
Oh man, I cannot wait to eat at halftime.
I got me some spicy patties here. Just ready to go at halftime.
I mean, I don't know. Is that appropriate to say in front of kids?
Oh my goodness. Oh, well, anyway, South America taking a timeout to try and stop the bleeding here after that Bronny James absolute rimrock. I really want to see how high he got on that. It seemed like his head was at the rim on that.
Yeah, and it would be impressive if we didn't watch. I mean, I got to stop the hate at some point, but it's too good. It would be impressive if we didn't just watch Dominic Bianco do it, and he's about 4'3", dunking on everybody that you can think of.
Man, dude, the size on Bianco and the hops just make no sense, and the audacity is a big part of it too. He has the audacity to go up on these bigger players and just yam it on their heads. It's something to see for sure.
I see what you did there. You tied the two games together. Said he yammed it on his head, and we got Corey Yams out here. If anybody missed that, I'm just pointing it out. But anyways, no,
just wait on Corey Yams to yam one at this point.
Has he? I think he had one in the first, but that's about all he's good for usually is one in the game.
As Yams with the rebound, there he goes, stuffing the stat sheet. There the man goes, Corey Yams grabbing that board.
Good inside pass.
Rejected by Patricio Ramirez. Finally, South America with a little bit of motion here.
Yeah, you know, I'm not big on making changes, any significant changes before halftime, because sometimes it takes a little bit to get heated up. I will say that I think Sampaio does not need to have the ball in his hands anymore. Nothing good has happened when he has had.
I agree. And Sampaio being 8th overall in turnovers in SWH would further reinforce your theory.
And this is a team. Showtime is going to take advantage of those turnovers. Most teams are going to take advantage of those turnovers. But when you have a bunch of athletic freaks like Bronny James, Bryce James, and Jackson McLean, and that, I mean, you can't afford it at all.
I just think, talk about what you said earlier. I think this Showtime team is incredibly balanced. They do need that third running mate, but I think they have the perfect mix of offensive and defensive players in Bronny James, of course, Bryce, Israel Vines, Joka Gee, really good guys on defense, such as Yams, Jackson McLean. You know, those guys are rim protectors and good rebounders too.
Yeah, and they're part of the reason they're such a good defensive team. I do think, though, for Showtime to make, I know I said about. Ooh, nice shot.
Great shot there by Joka Gee.
For Showtime to make that run, there needs to be somebody else other than Bronny James. I think that person does have to be Jackson McLean, though, because the size of the kids that have come out in the SimWorld Hoops this year has been ridiculous. And if you do not have a 6'10 guy, at least a 6'10 guy out there, you're probably not going to make it very far. So I think it has to be Jackson McLean making that jump to stardom with Bronny and Bryce.
I'm still kind of in disbelief that there's a player with the stature of Victorious Ilgauskas in this league. That guy is a tank.
Yeah, and he's not even the biggest guy. Richard Hennessy, a little bit bigger than him. But I feel like he's kind of. There's a lot of hype of Richard Hennessy. He had his own mixtape in the off season. Whenever he had played in one game, had his own mixtape, and I guess maybe playing for Oceana. Is it Oceana? I'm
Yes, Oceana.
unsure of myself. No, I wasn't sure. I'm like Oceana, or was it Atlantis? I don't know. I think I might have grabbed the wrong cup. Rick needs to come get his back. But
Right.
no, I think playing for the team that he plays for, and coach just not seemingly making him the focal point of that offense, I think we've just watched him disappear. If you have I believe Hennessy is 7'1", 275 or 276, and if you have a guy like that on your team, and he's not averaging like 50 points a game and 37 rebounds, you are doing something wrong as a coach. I don't think that McLean or Yams is that guy for Showtime, but I do think that the combination of them two, they could help Showtime get a little further into the race to one. But again, I think they're going to be one and done.
Oh, do you?
Personally, I think they'll be one and done. I just think that the size of some of the other kids is going to really hurt Showtime. And I'll probably stick my foot in my mouth because every time I talk crap about Showtime, they do something like this. Oh, nice dunk.
Easy dunk there by Patricio Ramirez. Yams just fell asleep on defense. And like going back to Richard Hennessy, I totally hear you on the coaching part. I hear you on the team visibility part. But I've actually caught a few Oceana games, and it seems he doesn't make the best choices on the court. He takes some mind-boggling shots, plays out of the offense for a lot of the time. It's just quite interesting to me.
Yeah, and I guess it's one of those things where we look at Joel Embiid, big three
Letterman
with no time. We look at somebody like Joel Embiid, who he wasn't. When did he start playing basketball? His senior year, or when he was 17 or something like that? I don't know what they do over there. But yeah, that's how I kind of see Richard Hennessy. This is a kid who he doesn't really know. I don't think he really knows what he's doing, but with his size, I think he needs to be a 2 or 3 year player in college basketball, which I think for the record should be a requirement. Don't shoot me, but I think a 3-year requirement for college basketball should be out there anyways. But I think he would really benefit from that, having a coach going to a school like, I don't know, I was going to say Kentucky, but do you want to go to a school that constantly underperforms every year? But your name's going to be out there because everybody's still going to be watching.
Right. And talking about the 3-year college rule, that's pretty interesting to me because those one-and-done players, I think they go because their hype is at the peak, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And if they were to stay and have a bad season, their stock just falls off and goes flat. So I think that's one of the primary reasons that people are one and done as we go into this half. And Bob, what have you seen so far tonight from both South America and Showtime?
I've seen nothing from South America, and I've seen that Showtime is absolutely thriving with Bronny being off the court during that period because they did not slow down. They may have been better. I think they had to play more like a team. When you have a player like Bronny on the court, what do you need to do? Get Bronny the ball.
Right.
You've really seen Showtime playing as a team when he was off the court, and I think that as long as I just think Showtime overall they're a good team, but they need to play a little bit more as a team versus
right. I think this is a great game for that.
It was 67 for
Blaine Hamilton. Oh boy. And we'll be right back. And here we are back with second half action here on SimWorld TV, where Showtime currently holds a 41-28 lead here on South America with 16 minutes left in the game.
Yeah. So what do you think we need to see here from South America to get them back in the game? What is this? Hold on again. Let me use my math skills for a second. We got a 28 plus a 10. That makes a 38, a 41. So it's a 13-point lead. What do we need to see? All right, just hold on. Let me go back to the math. Plus 2, 15. There we go. We're at 15.
Nice.
What do we need to see?
Check your calculations.
Yeah. What do you think we need to see from South America to get back from 15 points down?
I think we need to see a player that's not named Patricio Ramirez do something meaningful with the ball on the offensive end. I think that's what we need to see, as well as a better offensive and defensive scheme.
Ooh, that was a tough shot.
There you go.
Not what I was expecting from Sampaio, especially with the way he was playing in that first half. Also, what you don't want to see that from him, because there's no reason why you have a 6'1" dude driving in on a 6'9" guy.
There you go, South America. That was Sampaio playing D on the other end, and then easy layup there by Carmelo Vega. South America with four quick points.
That's all it takes. I mean, we've seen some.
Corey Yams, interesting decision to just back it out. He is absolutely petrified of that 3-second violation, isn't he? Inside Sampaio. It seems like South America's woken up here for the second half.
I think they must have overheard me. I think I might be their coach now.
All it takes is a little bit of fire as Ethan Letterman puts it up and in.
It's not a shot that you can give up by South America. That's an easy block 99% of the time.
Really not, and it seems that Coach Fernandez is not happy with that one as he takes a quick timeout. Not even 2 minutes into the third. And if you'd like to be part of the SimWorld action, whether it being a coach, player, journalist, or just a fan, come down and join us here at discord.gg/SimWorldNBA. That is discord.gg/SimWorldNBA. You will not be disappointed.
Follow us on Twitter too, SimWorld4K. Hit us up on YouTube where you're probably watching this game. We want you everywhere. We want you
everywhere. And here we are out of the timeout. I'd say a great timeout there by South America. Coach Fernandez just pulling his squad early, saying, "Get back on target. Just refocus. You can't allow easy shots like Letterman just got in the mid-range, easily blockable, as you said, Bob."
Yeah, I mean, and yes, no, it was only a 4-point run they had there. They need to stay focused, get it together.
Stay focused, get it together, play team basketball, and just keep scoring no matter what. There's another shot. That would have been a big one.
Would have been. I know that South America was teasing us a little bit there in the beginning of the third quarter, but I really don't think, I'm going to call it early, I don't think there's any chance that they have to come back into this game. I just don't think anybody is going to step up around Ramirez. Obviously, Sampaio did for the first couple of minutes here, but he's going to disappear soon. And then who do we have? Nobody.
And honestly, I'd say that as long as they're down by at least 11 or 12, there's still a chance. 45-36 here after that bucket.
Yeah, I think I'm usually a little more positive. I agree. Usually, I think. I mean, honestly, what's a 12-point? Let's just say it's a 12-point deficit. What is that really? 4 threes? 4 quick threes?
Yeah, 4 threes. In this day and age, people chuck them. So it's absolutely no lead is safe. No lead is safe. And
no, I mean, what did we see? There was a 30-point fourth quarter comeback or something. There was something crazy. I think it was H-Town early in the season. There's a
right, yes.
Crazy. Yeah, I think they scored like 30 points in about 3 minutes, something like that. And it was crazy.
I mean, like, that's H-Town, though. That's a team full of killers. Absolutely. There's built different out there.
You know, big dunk.
Nick Moss, the dunk, and a little A little shove there by Patricio Ramirez after the landing. Something to watch there.
Yeah, sometimes you need it. Sometimes you need it.
And assumed that he was a little insulted that Moss decided to rise up on him.
Yeah, well, you know, I want to say I appreciate that Ramirez took it. He didn't run out of the key like you see on. He didn't run out of the key like you see guys nowadays just give up the free points because they don't want to be on the poster. Take the poster because there's always a chance that you're going to affect that shot.
Absolutely, I have full respect for anyone who just on the inside is tough shot there by Bronny James. Over Ramirez again. We are bringing it up. That's Jaime Luis, Bob. That's Jaime Luis with the ball on the right wing.
I'm still not sure about all this, but okay.
And Mike House with the ball, puts it up and in. There you go, off the glass. And I'm looking for Mike House to make a big impact here in this second half.
Yeah, I mean he's just by name alone. He has the last name House, first name Mike. I like the name Mike. We got the house. Some things are going on. I'm just talking right now. I don't really know what I'm saying. But he is one of the guys. I would like to see him. I expect a little bit more from him. And I don't know why. You ever just have that feeling about someone where you're just like, I just expect more from him for some reason. And I don't know why.
I think it's because he shares the last name with Eddie House. And I think that's what's doing it for me.
Yeah, you know, and who else was there? There was another House in the NBA. Can't remember. Wasn't he? He's a good defender.
Daniel House.
I was gonna say Daniel, but so yeah, you're right. Probably, I would assume. I mean, you think you have Jamie's name, right? So I'm just gonna assume that you know it all. So, good shot.
There you go.
9 points.
South America is hanging around here with a 9-point lead. And just trading shot for shot. No team is really making a meaningful run here. We'll see if that changes in these last 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, I think that as long as if they want to stay in it, if they want to keep it within.
Nick Moss over 2 defenders. Ramirez included once again.
Who do you think Nick Moss is going to play for next season? Because I'm sure it's not going to be Showtime.
It could be anybody, Bob. It could be anybody.
Gonna see him. Maybe he's gonna head over to the Bay Area.
Oh man,
they're log jams. They're log jam too,
yeah,
though. So
I'm not quite sure he'd find a lot of playing time on that team, despite his skill.
I mean, I don't know. They're getting rid of Royce Anderson after the season.
Are they? Oh wow.
They're getting rid of Royce Anderson. I'd say there's
good. Nick Moss getting people involved now. There you go. The slam from Jackson McLean.
Ooh, what is going on?
I don't know. Some weird offense. You know, Patricio Ramirez just got caught up there. Had to pass it off. Bad shot there by South America. And the Jackson McLean takeover has begun, ladies and gentlemen.
So where do you think Jackson McLean's going to play next season? I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, I think that if Nick Moss is not happy, he absolutely has that opportunity to move on after this season. He can move on right now if he really wanted to. I mean, he can't really move on. He can leave the team.
And there you go. The Jackson McLean takeover is speaking it into existence here, Bob.
I mean, if Coach Hamilton doesn't make the decision to pump him up, make sure he's in the starting lineup, pump him up to 32 minutes a game. He doesn't want to win. If he doesn't do that, he doesn't want to win.
There's Patricio Ramirez spacing the floor on that baseline jumper. South America desperately needed that after those few buckets by Jackson McLean.
Oh, good pass.
Here we are, Jokagi on the outside. Here's Jackson McLean with it. He wants Ramirez. Unsure how to attack. Passed it off to G. I thought there was going to be a pass back there, but nothing. And G on the inside.
Wouldn't you be unsure how to attack that? Because Patricio Ramirez is just one of the... I would say... I think that he is a top 10... I personally think he's a top 10 center in the league. I think he could potentially be a top 10 player, but even though Jackson McLean might be feeling himself right now, I don't know if that's a guy you want to go one-on-one with.
Oh, and a mishandle there by Jackson McLean. 1.3 left. This seems like a really good game for Showtime to test out their bench and find some really good combinations, Bob.
Yeah, you know, I think we can probably pick that up a little bit after the start of the fourth.
All right, people. It's the end of the third quarter. We got one more left, 8 more minutes left of SimWorld action coming up right now. And here we are back in the fourth with 8 more basketball. 8 more basketball. Goodness
8 more
gracious,
basketballs. Oh my God! I don't know how can we follow that? There's so much. There's so many.
And
what about
here
the
we
2
are
guys that doesn't have a basketball?
Our
I feel
SimWorld
bad for them.
header. 8 games back to back to back to back to back.
Well, before we got cut off, yeah. Sometimes they're just. They're feeling themselves right now. You mentioned before we had to go to the intermission between third and the fourth quarter, this being kind of a statement game for Showtime, and more of a statement game as a whole team, and not just Bronny James and the Showtime dancers, whatever you want to call them. Do you think that this is kind of there? It's not just Bronny; it's about all of us type of game.
Absolutely, I do. I mean, I think we're seeing people from like every crevice of like the roster just stepping up, playing big. Their numbers being called, and they're just showing up, plain and simple. Especially Nick Moss off the bench playing great, despite that errant shot he took just a possession ago.
Hey, sometimes, and I'm pretty sure I might have seen him turn his back, throw the threes up, give us a little bit of a Nick Young vibe before that shot ever went in, and it obviously didn't. But no, I think. Let's say I get where Nick. Man, I keep wanting to say his name wrong. I'm sorry, Nicky Poo. I am so sorry. I think that despite him being upset that he is not starting, I think that he needs to understand that coming off of the bench might be best for him, because where's Bronny? Where's Bryce? He gets to have the court to himself. He doesn't have to worry about being probably if Moss is on the court as a starter, he is probably the 5th option. If he wants the big schools to really look at him and to want to bring him in, I think him coming off the bench is perfect for him. He has to remember this isn't about him at this point. It is about the whole team. But yeah, I think that I think he's in a perfect place right now, and he needs to hopefully deal with it.
I totally agree, Bob. I mean, he is in the ideal situation for like any up-and-coming player. He can just come off the bench, first man off the bench, and just be a super sub, just score and contribute, take a little bit off of Bryce and Bronny's backs. Just, it's a perfect place for him, for sure. And it comes with a lot more touches.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're coming off the bench, yeah, you might not be happy that you're coming off the bench.
Ooh,
but
McLean.
at the same time, I mean, he's only been there for 5 games, and he's their third leading scorer. If you are the starter for the rest of the season, again, if we were looking at a starting lineup for the rest of the season with him in it, what do we got? We got Bronny James, probably him at shooting guard, maybe Bryce James at small forward. I would probably put Corey Yams at power forward and then have McLean starting for the rest of the year.
Right.
He is still he is, like I said, at the very best, on a lucky day, he's the 4th option out there. And when Bronny is out there, with him averaging 23.7 points per game, there's just no room for the 3rd option when Bronny's on the court. That's a big 3.
Yeah, 3 finally drops for South America as Showtime is making a lot of mistakes here in this 4th quarter. Just bad turnovers, poor shot selection, and South America just not taking advantage of it until that 3 right there. If they had a few drop, this game would be a lot closer.
Yeah, and that's the problem is it's one of the concerns that I have about H-Town is the South America team, like they can, defensively, I think they can hang with some of the big dogs. But where's their offense coming from? Patricio Ramirez is the only guy on their team with double digits. They have a couple that are hovering around in the 9 points, close to the 10.
Right.
But this worked for them at the beginning of the season when they started off 5-0. I believe it was 5-0. Maybe it was 9-0. It was something. It was something special, and it was something that we weren't expecting from them.
Ooh, Clean again, just showing his dominance in the post on that quick rim run. And quite honestly, Bob, I think a lot of this falls on Sampaio being just being on ball primarily. I think take him off the ball, put Mike House on it, see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, Sampaio is definitely not the way that he has played tonight. I will say that I don't necessarily pay attention to him as much as someone else might, but the way that he's been carrying the ball, I do not want him carrying the ball up the court. I do not want him being the decision maker on this team. And like I said, I think that throwing in House, maybe give House that opportunity, just to say, what's the worst that's going to happen? Big dunk.
There you go. There's
I
a
love
nice
Ramirez.
one.
I love Ramirez. Anyway.
He is a specimen.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that they're kind of at a point right now where just start mixing it up. See what you have in other guys. It's not going to hurt. And what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to lose another 5 games in a row?
Right. I mean, like, they're under 500. They're 6-10 on the year. And, they've won only a single game out of their last 5. Just try and make something work at this point. Just try and experiment, see what you have, and just make something happen.
You know what? Put Ramirez at point guard. Why not? I mean,
Ramirez?
Yeah. I mean, I have seen in. Let's see. I've seen Richard Hennessy. I've seen Viktoras Ilgauskas. I've seen them carrying the ball up. Why not? Let them have some fun. Back in the day.
I'll tell you what, Bob. I could not be a coach of this South America team. There would be some very interesting lineups out there.
Yeah, I couldn't be a coach, but they're in Brazil and it's too hot down there, and there's I don't know. I wouldn't be able to. If we ever get like a Alaskan SimWorld team, maybe I'll step away from the media side of things and go coach an Alaskan team. But
Alaskan, interesting.
Yeah, Alaska, Antarctica, whatever.
Antarctica. All right, that's. I think that's a bit much of their Bob.
I mean, whatever. But
you'd rather be in the frozen wasteland tundra than Brazil, really? Because I know a guy that would love to coach in Brazil, and that'd be one Rick Blaze.
Yeah, but I think he wants to be there for other reasons. But no, for me, I'll go. I'll lay out on an iceberg, lay out there with the penguins and the killer whales. Yeah, I'm good. I am good.
Oh, yeah, and the polar bear will just come and eat you. It'll be a great time for sure.
I mean, I'd give him a decent fight though.
Whoa! Nice alley slam by Sampaio, the 6'1" guard, jumping up through the gym for that one.
I'm pretty sure that his head almost went above the backboard.
Yeah, that was a high flying one. Out of quite literally nowhere. There seems to be a little bit of momentum here for South America. Let's see if they can capitalize on it.
It's 10 points. What do we got? 10 points, 220. That's a couple threes. They can do
Bob.
it.
All I see is Mike House has the ball as he loses it.
All right. So now let's see who's next. I think that we should let Fernandez run the point for the rest of the game. See what we got out of him. What's it gonna hurt?
As a timeout by South America, Coach Fernandez probably not happy to see that turnover in such an integral point of the game. I'd say.
Yeah. I'm growing. I have some. Let me calm myself down for a second so I can gather my words.
Go right ahead.
I have been extremely frustrated with some of the guard play that I've seen over the last couple of weeks. If I see another little 6'1", 6'2" guy driving into the paint, going up against the biggest guy on the court, I want to point out what it was last night, 7 o'clock last night. The Originators playing against SimWorld Europe. What did we see in the fourth quarter? Kadarius Loftus driving to the hoop on Henrik Vekic. What?
Not gonna work.
What? First off, dude made 12 threes in a game, 43 points.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you driving to the hoop? That's not you. That is not you.
I think that's what comes with playing ball at the high school level. These players are just not experienced enough. They just don't realize the errors in their ways. And quite honestly, I'm pretty tired of that too. I'm tired of seeing these guys going up against 6'8", 6'9", 6'10" players just going up for an easy little layup. It's just not gonna happen. You gotta learn. There you saw Mike House with a wide open layup, passing it out.
It was Ben Simmons.
He pulled a Ben Simmons, Draymond Green there. Oh, there you go.
There was something that you brought it up. Yeah, that frustrated me earlier too. Patricio Ramirez had a direct lane to the hoop to dunk it, and he pulled up for a layup. Why?
Makes no sense.
You're 6'9", you can dunk. Why are you going for a layup?
And here's Mike House, case in point right here. Thankfully passes it out. Brownie on Sampaio. No offense to speak of here. Sampaio jumper, knocks it down. Leads cut to 7, Bob.
Where'd the 7-point lead come from? I must have checked out at like 7 minutes left in the fourth.
Oh, and Showtime missing.
Was.
I think Showtime's taken their foot off of the gas ultimately, just letting anything fly.
Oh,
wide open
God,
for 3.
That is not who you want back there. I will say I don't know who that was. There you go. Thank you. I don't know who it was, but he looked too dang big to be taking a 3.
I mean, he is a 35% three-point shooter. I mean, given a smaller sample size, he's only made 5 threes on the year, but still.
They're way too much time off the clock. They're down by 7 with 20 seconds left. Why are they driving to the hoop?
Right. And it seems that this one's come to an end here with Showtime holding a 7-point lead over South America.
No foul. There's no fouling right now. I'm absolutely gonna explode in about 2 seconds with the way that this last minute has gone.
South America just waving the white flag too early, making bad decisions in the clutch.
What?
It's a laundry list, folks. And we thank you for checking out our SimWorld doubleheader tonight. Me and Big Bob are always glad to meet your acquaintance. And we will see you guys soon for more SimWorld hoops here on SimWorld TV. And we bid you a great night. See the game, be the game.